Those are scenes of the Huntingdon train stabber days before he did what he did.
All of a sudden, this like long knife, like extra large sort of knife sort of thing, it was very big, and he pulled that out and started waving it about, and he said, "Do you want to die?"
Surrounded by armed officers screaming at him to show them his hands, this is how a terrifying mass stabbing was brought to an end. But it's when the attacks began that's under scrutiny now, not just on the train, but with evidence mounting that these passengers weren't the first to come within inches of danger.
Hey guys, this video is primarily for my non-UK viewers. If you're in the UK, I'm sure you have heard about this case. This is horrendous. As someone who used to use the train to go to work on a daily basis, given just how vulnerable people are when they're on the train, you know, between stations, you can't get off, you've nowhere to go, and some random guy just gets on the train and starts to stab people indiscriminately, it seems. This all went down on Saturday. I'm recording this Tuesday, so this is 4 days ago. So we do know a little bit about this guy. He was arrested shortly after the train stopped and he got away, but he was apprehended very quickly. His name is Anthony Williams. He's 32 years old. We don't know anything about his mental state or his life as of yet, but we do know his name and we know that he's had his preliminary appearance in court. This all went down in Huntingdon. The train was heading from Doncaster in South Yorkshire to London.
What the charges clearly reflect is that at 12:46 a.m. on Saturday, the suspect allegedly attacks a man at Pontoon Dock Station in East London. Police are called, but he escapes before they find him. They now know that just under 19 hours later, at 7:28 p.m, he's at Peterborough Station, boarding the 18:25 train from Doncaster to London King's Cross. 11 minutes later, at 39 minutes past 7, the first 999 call is received, reporting multiple stabbings on board the train. At 7:41, the train makes an unscheduled stop at Huntingdon, where armed police and paramedics are waiting. Minutes later, the suspect is arrested within 8 minutes of the first emergency call to be made from the train. Much of that down to the response of its driver, Andrew Johnson, a Royal Navy veteran who requested the unscheduled stop at Huntingdon. Widely praised for acting so swiftly, today he said simply, "As train drivers, we hold a lot of responsibility. The action I took is the same as any other driver. I think my colleagues on board were the real heroes, and I'd like to pay tribute to their bravery." That bravery underscored, say his colleagues, by evidence from inside the train, showing how one crew member put himself in harm's way. While the train's now been removed from the station, he remains critical but stable in hospital. 4 other passengers are also being treated there, among them a Scunthorpe United player, defender Jonathan Joshe.
The train driver was alerted. He took what potentially is life-saving measures by stopping at a station that the train wasn't meant to be stopping at, basically letting people off. There was nothing else he could do, really, but it's just so shocking. What's even more shocking is police are now investigating whether Anthony Williams is responsible for other recent incidents. The CCTV footage that I showed you at the beginning of this video is one of those instances. Cambridgeshire Police says these incidents include the stabbing of a 14-year-old on Friday and 2 reports of a man seen with a knife in a barber shop. That's the barber shop that's in the video. He has appeared in court yesterday on 11 counts of attempted murder. 5 of them are still in hospital, including 1 member of the train staff. not known to security services, and the UK police have gone to pains to say that Anthony Williams was born in the UK, he's a UK citizen, he's not known to security services, and this was not a terrorism incident. This is some guy who is going around stabbing people for some unknown reason. The clip of the man with his hand in a bandage is a man called Stephen Crean, and we're going to hear more from him shortly. He was one of the people who tried to apprehend Anthony Williams and had his hand sliced as he confronted him. There's a bunch of people that have come out and said what they saw.
Thought I was going to die.
Student Amira was in the same carriage as the suspect.
I looked up and I just saw this man just fly out, and no one flies out like that. I thought maybe something happened, and only then when people in my carriage started shouting, "He's got a knife, run," that's when I realised it was a stabbing.
Everyone's just absolutely terrified. We do have a problem with knife crime here in the UK, and we have had a problem with knife crime for many years. Unlike the US, we don't have a huge problem in relation to gun crime. We do have gun crime. It tends to be, though, in relation to gang warfare and drugs and things like that. We have had mass shootings, but they are thankfully few and far between. But knife crime is huge. But this guy is definitely outside of the norm. Just crazy. The British Transport Police are the agency who is the primary investigator here. And they say that 5 of those injured remain in hospital. 1 is critically unwell. Let's hear more from Stephen Crean, the brave guy who confronted this stabber.
Stephen told Charing Creed carer about the moment he was confronted and a warning that he describes details of the attack, which he may find upsetting.
All of a sudden, this like long knife, like extra large sort of knife sort of thing. It was very big. And he pulled that out and started waving it about, and he said, "Do you want to die?" About 3 times he shouted. And
Stephen Crean was heading home from a football match when he saw other passengers fleeing Saturday evening's attacker and decided he would have to be the one to stop him.
It was after Peterborough. The doors behind me opened on the train, and a girl ran by and she shouts, "There's a man with a knife, a big knife." And as far as I remember, there was 2 or 3 people ran past. And in my eyes, he's not getting past me, no matter what. Because I remember the people running past, and they were a lot younger than me as well.
Most people would run away from that sort of danger, but you run towards it.
That's all I can do. I didn't back off. I could have run the other way. But where am I running into? And I'm running away from him. Why? Why should I? I grabbed his arm, and I think that is when, like, my hand and stuff got caught up with the blade and stuff, because it's sharp. It's like a sword type of thing, you know. And that's where that sort of thing. And then he started, when I let go of that, he's having a little swing at this and that. He's probably gone for my head, which just caught me on the top there. And as the police said, it went to the bone.
In total, Stephen was stabbed 6 times. He'll now need plastic surgery on his left hand. Despite that, he's reluctant to call himself a hero.
I think there's much more bigger heroes than me. You know, you have the medics, the police and all that, the people that helped me.
I'm one of those have-a-go hero type people. I think I would have been one of the people who would have been stabbed because I would have confronted the guy. I just can't help it. It's in my nature. Look, I've had a number of altercations and violent incidents on trains and on the rail network. British Transport Police are telling people that it's all safe to travel and blah, blah, blah. And it is. And it is. If you consider the amount of people who use British Railways over a course of a day, look at that in the terms of number of violent incidents. Number of violent incidents is very small in relation to the amount of people that travel. So, yeah, I don't know. Trouble seemed to find me in my younger years. That's all I'm going to say. The government are talking about this and what they can do and da-da-da-da-da. But I don't really know what they can do. The government talk, don't they? You know, Parliament means talking shop.
I know that ideas have already been suggested about how policing should change in response to this event. Once the facts are known, we must examine what more might have been done to stop this horrific attack from ever occurring.
I'm going to play a little bit of this from the Daily Mail. They've got more information about his court appearance.
About his address, he said no fixed abode. For most of that brief hearing, he hung his head low, looking down, looking at the floor. There was no bail application. He didn't ask for bail. And then it was over pretty quickly. The district judge asked him to stand. Williams looked briefly at the judge as the judge said that he would be kept in custody, at which point Williams simply nodded. And then he was taken from court. He wasn't asked to plead to any of those charges. It would have been very unusual at this stage. First appearance, I mean, it's less than 48 hours after his arrest. He faces 14 charges. Most of them relate to the alleged attack on the train on Saturday night. So there are 10 attempted murder charges there he faces. One of assault, which we understand relates to an allegation of an assault on a police officer at the police station later that night after the arrest, and one charge of knife possession. Now there's a second set of charges that relate to an alleged incident in London much earlier that morning, in the early hours of Saturday morning, in Docklands in East London, near one of the DLR railway stations. And from that alleged incident, he faces 2 charges, one of another attempted murder and one of another possession of a knife. That's about as much as I can tell you. It was a very brief hearing. There were other things discussed that aren't reportable at this stage, because this is the start of what will likely be a long criminal justice process.
Daily Mail reports that the barber shop called the police roughly 90 minutes after the suspect left the shop. Why did it take so long to call the cops? The news is awash with people's footage, with people saying what they saw. I think there was a number of people who were brave, who acted quickly, who got that situation under control. It could have been so much worse. My admiration goes out to everybody who faced that attacker, Anthony Williams, and hopefully he's kept inside. They throw the book at him, and whatever problems he's got, well, let the criminal justice system deal with him. Alright, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe as well, because I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. You know the drill if you watch my channel all the time. Bye guys.